Good evening, everybody. I'm Frank Bassoni, and welcome back to this great tournament. Earlier today, Westland and Aurora Christian advanced to the Final Four, and tonight we'll show you 4 teams with a combined record of an amazing 116 wins and only 4 losses. First, it will be undefeated and top-ranked Fairbury Prairie Central's Hawks, 29-0, shooting it out with Marengo, 28-2. And then Pittsfield, 30-1, challenges Norris City, 29-1. It's all coming up next.
The Illinois High School Association proudly presents another championship event. Your network sponsors are your local John Deere dealer. Nothing runs like a Deere. The Country Companies. When it matters most, the country's behind you. And the dairy farmers of Wisconsin and Illinois. Whether you're on the court or off, milk, it does a body good.
Now with more, here are my colleagues, Art Kimball and Coach Jim Mungie.
Thank you very much, Frank, and Jim Mungie. Here we go, the final 2 games in the quarterfinal round of the Class A state tournament. It's starting to wind down to its grand culmination tomorrow night. Top-ranked Prairie Central against a Marengo team that has always been very good.
Right, they've been to that super sectional a number of times. They finally got down to the big show, and of course for Prairie Central, this is 2 years in a row, and Coach Strasburger 3 in a row. So I look for a real good basketball game.
Jerry Tidwell, the point guard for Prairie Central, thinks this is his home floor. I just talked to him in the tunnel. He was here, the point guard on Pana State champs 2 years ago. Here, the point guard on Prairie Central's third-place team last year. Here this year, hoping to win it all again. For Marengo, it's a new experience, but boy, they're fired up.
They are, and they've got a nice basketball team, so this could be one of the better games, and we saw a good ball game today already.
It'll be interesting to see if the swarming pressure defense of Prairie Central will trouble Marengo. Marengo's stock and trade also is the big D.
Right, it is, and they're very patient offensively, and if that press gets them running up and down, it just might change their style of play.
Okay, coming up shortly, the game itself, but right now, let's pause for these messages. Very close many times, Bill, but you finally made it to the hall. What a thrill, huh?
It certainly is, Art. We tried 4 previous times until this year and got over the hump this time, and it feels great.
What about this matchup with Prairie Central? What do you know about the Hawks?
Well, we know they're a very, very excellent ball club, of course, been rated first most of the year. But we feel our kids are really prepared. We told them in the middle of the season they can play with any Class A team in the state of Illinois, and we're here to prove it tonight.
If the form sheet holds up, it'll be a battle of defense.
Well, I think there's no doubt about it. I think it's going to be one of the great Class A matchups in the state this year.
What do you have to do to get the job done?
Well, we got to stop their outside game as well as their inside game, so our defense will get a real test tonight, Art.
You're a very balanced club, aren't you, offensively?
Yes, we are. We have 4 of our 5 starters that are averaging in double figures. So,
Bill, good luck to you. Congratulations for being down here.
thank you very much, Art.
Veteran coach Bill Berry, the head coach at Marengo, and now stepping in for the 3rd year in a row. He keeps making an encore appearance. Charlie Strasburger, the head coach at Prairie Central. Charlie, the Army's here again, isn't it?
Yes, they are. I think they're out in full force tonight.
You had great following all year long. What about being ranked #1 going into a state tournament? Any additional pressure?
Not at all, Art, because when you lose, you're out.
Yeah, that's right. One opportunity. Defensive battle tonight?
Suppose it's so. I know we'll go play defense.
Your ball club struggled a little bit against U-High and the Super. Just tell me you played very well in the 2-point win over Crescent City Iroquois in the sectional final. You just faced some good people, haven't you?
Yes, we have, Art. You know, U-High played a good defensive ball game also, so certainly that was a struggle for us.
What about your inside game against Marengo? Does that concern you more than your perimeter game?
Not really. I just hope that the inside guys will play with a little more authority tonight than we did in the regionals and the sectionals. And if the inside game's not there, then we'll take the outside game.
3 starters back from your 3rd-place club of a year ago. Certainly that helps.
Certainly does.
Charlie, good to see you. Good luck to you.
Thanks a lot, Art. Thank you.
Charlie Strasburger, the head coach at Prairie Central, in the Assembly Hall for the 3rd time with 2 different teams in succession. Now to the bench, and Frank Bassoni.
Thank you very much, Art. The Assembly Hall crowd piling in here as Coach Strasburger comes by, and it's for the 3rd year in a row. He and his stepson, Gary Tidwell, an all-state performer and an average of 21.5 points a game on the season. So Prairie Central may be the favorite here tonight, but no losses to Class A teams for Marengo either. They have lost to DeKalb 46-44 and Lake Zurich 69-50. Both are double A teams, and this is a very capable, a very balanced team. And Coach Jim Mungie, Marengo plays savage defense.
They sure do, and their schedule is pretty decent, and as you alluded to, only been beaten by AA schools. It's got to be a classic matchup. The experience, at least in playing on this floor, belongs with Prairie Central, but size-wise and so on, I think the teams match up very well.
Marengo got here by revenging last year's loss to Mendota, taking them out 79-53. Prairie Central got here, eliminating Normal U-High in the Super 54-49. Fairbury is from Livingston County, where there's a population there of 3,400. Their enrollment's 477. They play in the Waseca Conference, the navy blue and white. And Marengo from McHenry County, their enrollment's 523. From the Northwest Suburban Conference in the maroon and white. They're far north. They're about 60 miles northwest of Chicago. Prairie Central, of course, in Livingston County in the central part of the state. And that group of people, and there you see a profile of the Indians Northwest Suburban Conference team. Jim, this crowd's buzzing already.
Right, I think they're in great anticipation of what might happen after we get these kids introduced. They're really going to erupt with the first basket.
Now we're set to go across the way, and this is the public address announcer at the Assembly Hall, Steve Adams.
Ladies and gentlemen, after the presentation of the colors, we ask you to stand and join our guest soloist, Aaron Mayhew, a student at Alton Senior High School, and sing our national anthem, as it is played this evening by the pep band from Hamilton High School.
Big house at the Assembly Hall, and this one looks even bigger than it was this afternoon when there was between 12 and 13,000 here. I would guess that there's more than 13,000 in the house tonight. And the marquee player of this game is perhaps Gary Tidwell, the 6'1 senior from Fairbury Prairie Central. Perhaps will have the most games in the Class A finals of any performer. He'll be way up there for three-pointers also. Now it's time to meet the players. Once again, Steve Adams.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the coaches and players for this third quarterfinal round game in Class A, featuring the Marengo Indians and the Hawks of Prairie Central. First, introducing Marengo High School, entering this game with a record of 28 wins and 2 losses. Here is the head coach in his 22nd season at the school, Bill Berry. Assistant coaches, Roger Cannon, Ron Craven, and Greg Halverson. And now the players. senior Guy Stevens. Number 12, a 5'10 junior, David Keating. Number 20, a 6-foot senior, Kent Seavers. Number 24, a 6'1 junior, Eric Halverson. Number 30, a 6'1 junior, Bob Menino. Number 34, a 6-foot senior, Dave Turner. Number 40, a 6-foot senior, Joe Harper. Number 44, a 6'2 senior, Jamie Patroki. Number 50, a 6-foot senior, Kip Sandersfeld. And number 54, a 6'2 senior, Lou Kolotivic. And now, the starting lineup for the Indians of Marengo. At one forward, a 6'2 senior, number 22, Chad Olson.
At 21 points in the super.
At the other forward, a 6'2 junior, 42, Sean McKee.
Averages 10.5 points a game.
At center, a 6'3 senior, number 52, Joe Wallner.
It's a transfer from Chicago Luther North.
At one guard, a 6'1 junior, 32, John Cannon.
With 13 first-half points in the super.
And at the other guard, a 5'10 senior, number 14, Joe Bell.
23 points in the super sectional.
Those are the Indians of Marengo High School. And now, introducing the Hawks of Prairie Central High School of Fairbury, who entered this game with a record of 29 wins and no losses. Here is the head coach in his second season after school, Charlie Strasburger. Assistant coaches, Brad Crane, Brad Byers, and Mike Quinn. And now let's meet the players. Number 22, a 5'10 senior, Ricky Heike. Number 23, a 5'8 sophomore, Kyle Wenger. Number 24, a 6'2 sophomore, Mike Fogarty. Number 25, a 5'11 sophomore, Kevin Stoller. Number 30, a 6-foot sophomore, Corey Thompson. Number 31, a 6'2 freshman, Chris Salwin. Number 32, a 6-foot sophomore, Derek Schrock. Number 41, a 6'2 junior, Steve Perkins. Number 50, a 6'2 sophomore, Brian Deck. And number 54, a 6'5 senior, Justin Cox. And now, the starting lineup. At one forward, a 6'1 senior, number 14, Darren Bazell.
Averaging 14.5 points a game.
At the other forward, a 6'2 senior, 33, Kent Aberle.
Tough rebounder and a role player.
At center, a 6'6 senior, number 42, Dayton Cooper-Smith.
Averaging 15 points an outing.
At one guard, a 6-foot senior, number 20, Mark Elliott.
Coach calls him the biggest surprise on the team.
And at the other guard, a 6'1 senior, number 12, Gary Tidwell.
Averages 21.5 points a game.
Those are the Hawks of Prairie Central High School of Fairbury. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the officials for the third quarterfinal game, Preston Brewer of Metropolis and Steve Morris of Woodlawn.
We're all set. It's Prairie Central and Marengo coming up. Now this timeout from one of your network sponsors, John Deere. Like the movie Poltergeist 2, they say they're back. and Prairie Central is back to try this time to get done what they couldn't do a year ago, and that is win a state championship. But in the past, the Marengo Indians 28-2, and believe me, both of these teams are pumped.
They're ready to go, and it'll be interesting to see if Marengo's defense can contain the outside game of Prairie Central.
They've held their opponents to 47 a game. Prairie Central has scored 77 a game, and therein it is. Auberly starts with the ball to Tidwell, Prairie Central, and right away, Marengo works on D. They're going to play some zones, a variety of zones. Tidwell looks at it. Tidwell has tremendous range. He'll remind you of Alford. Steve Alford, who played at Indiana. First shot is not good. The Hawks keep the ball, and we'll try again. Marengo in the maroon.
Looks like right now, Frank, they're playing kind of a switching box and one. They switch wherever Tidwell goes and crowd him tight, and the rest of the players are more in a box defense.
Good idea. In it goes to Bazell. He works along the baseline, gets it over to Auberly for a deuce. Kent Auberly gets the first two of the game, and Marengo has the ball in their hands for the first time. They will play a pattern offense rather than a running style. Defense is their forte. They're very balanced.
Now, their first trip, they started out in a 1-3-1 and trapped the guard on the wing when he had the basketball.
Joe Bellick took the first shot. Sean McKee the second, and there's Bellick for the rebound. Joe Bellick, a 5'10 guard, ties the game. Notice Bazell call for some help. Cooper Schmidt at 6'5 comes out and gives it to him. Little behind the back pass, and lost it, got it back. Elliott inside Cooper Schmidt. Dayton Cooper Schmidt has a court in the upper level of a barn of his house. Everything painted, free throw line, three-point line. They played there all summer.
He's an excellent player. He had a good state tournament last year as a junior.
There's a pass out of bounds, and the Hawks of Prairie Central will have it, leading by 2. Frank Bissoni, along with Art Kimball and Coach Jim Mungie from Lawrenceville, here in our second quarterfinal session of the day. Tidwell is trapped at center court. The experience will be one edge that the Hawks have. 3 of them starters a year ago. Bazell is 14. Cooper Schmidt easy.
Nice penetration, jump off pass by Bazell. That was an excellent job.
Bellick and Cannon will play outside. Wing player Olson shot a 3. Nice rebound, Wallner. Called for walking. He stumbled.
Lost his balance. That's definitely a travel. He had a chance for an easy, uncontested layup. Just lost his balance.
Look at the pressure. 94 feet. Bazell in the back to help out. Tidwell, wing left, 3. Too long. Auberly. And nice rebound to Chad Olson. 6'2", but plays bigger.
Covered the backside real quickly. He was wide open just for a second, and then by the time he got it off, somebody got their hand on it.
The lob in the corner. McKee. It rattled out. Picked up by Olson. And the Hawks have it. Elliott outside right. Tidwell left. Now Cooper Schmidt wants the ball on the block. Bazell. Darren Bazell gives Prairie Central a 6-point lead and makes Marengo call timeout. The Indians stop the clock. 4:44. And the Hawks off and running. Let's take timeout for this from one of your network sponsors, Country Company.
Here's a nice dribble penetration coming up by Bazell, splitting the defense. Sees the big man inside, gives a nice dish off and an easy 2 for Cooper Schmidt.
You talk about enthusiasm. Prairie Central's fans learned that the tickets went on sale at the school at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they started lining up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 12 hours before the tickets went on sale, and both teams have great houses here tonight. Here's a pass, picked off by the Hawks. Bazell's got it. and Marengo turns it right back over as Chad Olson uses the good hands.
Nice little backbite there and got repossession of the basketball.
Man-to-man for the Hawks. They've got some pressure on. McKee is out to the left, goes across the lane. Wallner, free 6-footer. Joe Wallner.
Prairie Central that time switched out of that 1-3-1, went straight man-to-man, and Marengo got themselves an easy bucket.
Tidwell lost the ball to Bazell, and then he lost it out of bounds, and Marengo has the turnover, 2 apiece in the game.
Frank, that situation at Prairie Central became a real party. They were up in the balcony of the gymnasium. People bought books, portable television sets, and everything, waiting to buy tickets.
Wonder what was going on at the Cooper Schmidt barn.
Shooting 3-pointers, probably.
All right, going to the free throw line, Joe Wallner, a 6'3" senior. Wallner transferred after his freshman year from Chicago Luther North to Marengo, and he talked about a culture shock.
Probably a big change from the big city to Marengo, but I'm sure he's happy with the basketball.
Well, he in his wildest dreams, he said, couldn't top arriving in the Assembly Hall in the Elite Eight. He averages 74% at the foul line, and he got that. It's a 3-point game for the Hawks. Oh, a lazy pass in, picked off by Olson for 2.
There's that pressure defense.
And Bill Berry said, I don't know how good we are offensively, but we'll guard you. They've got bayonets out on the defense right now. Here's Tidwell. Look at him go. Found Cooper Schmidt. And Olson gets the rebound, and Marengo shoots for the lead.
Bill has had a lot of great teams up there, Frank, over the years. This may be his best one.
Once again, a turnover. And Bazell, who lists as a forward, plays a lot of guard. Elliott looks for help. Not a lot of movement off the ball now. Elliott tried a 3. Bazell in the paint. Now Cooper Schmidt, the offensive board work, but Olson's got another steal. Chad Olson showing it on both ends.
They really did a nice job of jamming the rebounder right there. They had 3 men all around him, just made him cough the ball up.
Olson's free. The shot is way short, and Tidwell has a 2-on-2 going. He kicks the ball away, and it's on the deck. It'll go to Marengo. A little shaky with the ball, Prairie Central.
Right now, yes. I think they're trying to do a little too much. I don't care if they've been here before or not. Kids are still a little nervous. It's going to take a while.
Tidwell has a little tendency sometimes to try to perhaps carry the club on his own shoulders. By the way, Darren Bazell is their football quarterback, and a pretty good one.
Absolutely. Justin Cox, a 6'5" senior, 54, checks in. Cooper Schmidt goes out to hear from Charlie Strasburger. And again, Marengo can take the lead, 2:40. Bellick. Tough rebounding inside. It comes out, and the Hawks have it. Elliott tries to push it up. Bazell goes inside. Oberle walks. And now another Hawk bounces off the bench.
Steve Perkins, who did not play in the Super Sectional. This is not a particularly deep team, and Charlie Strasburger sometimes substitutes on a hunch.
A quart low on depth.
That's right, yeah. At least.
They're back in that 1-3-1 zone again, Frank. Gave up the baseline.
Gave it up completely. Olson penetrated all the way in. Marengo took the lead on the shot, and Olson's off and running. He has 4 quick ones. Another turnover, and look at Prairie Central, uncharacteristically 5 turnovers already, but give Marengo's defense some credit. The Indians are all over you. Oh, nearly a steal there by Wallner. Cox inside Perkins. Tidwell rebounds, and he's fouled. And the closest thing you get in high school to automatic is Tidwell at the line.
There's a replay of that foul. Tidwell, one of them, got the rebound, and he got whacked across the arm. Marengo's really exerting some nice pressure and putting some good traps on the man with the ball and playing the passing lanes very well right now, Frank.
They've turned the Hawks over 5 times. Tidwell, as a sophomore, made 16 out of 17 in a super sectional game from the free throw line. Look at those numbers. Even we couldn't jinx him. 10-9, the Hawks, just under 2 minutes, first quarter.
Here's that 1-3-1. Going to extend it a little bit. See if they can make some traps of their own.
Bellick handles the ball. Olsen, ball fake, baseline. Wallner, pull up one-hander. Bazell's all over the place. Here he comes. He's free, 17. Nice inside rebound position by Cox. He's a horse at 210.
That's a nice man to come off the bench. You can rest a 6'5" kid, bring in another one with good strength, and you know, he definitely did a good job on the board. Look at this rebound again here. Cox up, good position over the back, and the kind of rebounder you like to have, Frank.
We're back live. Cox has it slapped away by Sean McKee, and the Indians take it, and they can take the lead back. Well, you can see why they have this record. There's trapping the ball. Wallner comes out to help. He's a 6'3", lines up at center. Look at that 1-4 set.
Both teams have changed their defenses quite often this early going.
Olsen way outside with a 3, and Tidwell hunts it down. Prairie Central and Marengo feeling each other out. First period, under a minute. This is a 3 try by Elliott. Bazell rebounds and turns off the window. He's got it back. Offensive rebounding is good for Prairie Central. Bazell missed that. They still got it.
Ball seems to be a little slippery because everybody's not getting a good grip on that ball on either end of the court off the basket.
Tidwell on the slide. Nope, no goal. Offensive foul.
One of the most debated calls in basketball, Frank, the charge of the block, and that's always a tough call for an official. Here it comes again. Tidwell taking him to the left, leaves the feet. Man was planted, so official waves it off, and it's an offensive foul.
You have to be there completely, can't be moving. Now Marengo may take one. There's the clock, first quarter. Wallner's open. He's got it, on the way. Nice rebound inside Olsen. He's had a great quarter, missed it. And maybe Prairie Central will get the last try. Tidwell says one. Man-to-man looks like for Marengo here.
Still with the box, Frank, just pushing the Tidwell. They don't want him to shoot that basketball.
Here he comes. Bazell, under 3. Bazell lets a pass fly too late. Cox got it off, it's too late. It won't count, and at the end of 1 quarter, Prairie Central leads Marengo 10-9. Now this from one of your network sponsors, the dairy farmers of Wisconsin and Illinois. The light blinking in the far north, Marengo, 60 miles northwest of Chicago. In central Illinois, it's Fairbury, Prairie Central. You know, Marengo's defense is something special. Somebody wrote about Gary Tidwell that you could put him at center court, blindfold him, and in 3 dribbles he'd score. Well, but he's got 2 free throws in the first quarter against this Marengo team.
Their defensive scheme against them has been very good so far. If the other people don't pick up the scoring, it's going to be a long night for the Hawks, I think.
I wonder if he'll show frustration over being crowded this much.
Well, he's an experienced player, and I think he'll handle it well.
Cannon's guarding him man-to-man. Here's Elliott. Overshot a 3. And it looks like Marengo will control. John Cannon has been given the assignment of playing man-to-man against Tidwell wherever he goes.
That scheme that they're using, the other players that are left open are going to have to contribute, say, for Prairie Central to, you know, make them come out of this defense.
Olsen, right wing. The Hawks trying to trap the ball. Look how they get 2 on the ball. It'll free somebody if Marengo can move the ball quickly enough. Olsen with a good first quarter. Out of bounds for the Indians.
They're doing a great job of trapping themselves. Not only is Marengo using a good press, but so is Prairie Central.
Bill Berry's already shed the coat. Cooper Schmidt, 42, back in for Prairie Central. Inside Wallner. Nice ball movement. Wallner got it in. Marengo is in the lead. 11-10. Tidwell has to give up the ball. Wallner has 5. Bazell's handled the ball a lot in the game. Skip pass over what is a zone. Bazell steps in, puts it up and in.
That's going to be available, Frank, because as they give attention to Tidwell, they leave some of those seams, and if they'll drive those seams, I think they'll start to score.
6:42 in the first half. Chad Olson is 22. Bellick, 5'10 senior, is 14. Quarterbacks the club. Olson's in three-point land. Inside Cannon. A lot of traffic down there. Wallner rebounds and scores.
Big offensive rebound on the backside, Frank.
10 rebounds for Marengo. They trail that category by 4. Inside, nice move to Oberle. And he got it down. Kent Oberle. Coach Strasburger said he's been a very consistent player all year. Defense is still the order. Wallner goes for his third goal in a row. No, but Cannon follows.
Cannon's playing a good role out there defensively, and he's making himself available to help in the offense.
John Cannon averages less than 5 points a game and hit 13 in the first half the other day in the Super. Cooperschmidt horses the boards and follows and is fouled. Dayton Cooperschmidt working the glass.
It's interesting, the only games that Prairie Central's really had trouble, you think back to that semifinal last year when they lost to Carlisle, the eventual state champions, with Michael and Peters and their two big men. Big ball clubs and teams that shoot extremely well in the perimeter getting in trouble. Marengo's the first team in a long while, even a little smaller than they are, who stuck with them defensively.
Cooperschmidt missed. The two closest games that the Hawks have had, 2-pointers in the sectional, Muhammad 31-29 and Crescent Iroquois 72-70. Of course, they haven't lost. And in 2 years there, Charlie Strasburger is only 59-2.
And Crescent Iroquois is probably the state's best three-point shooting team.
15 all is the tie as Marengo holds and controls. You know, in talking to these teams and coaches, both exude so much confidence.
You have to have that if you're going to get here, and you have to definitely have it if you expect to win the tournament.
Bellick gets free, rolls it up and in. Joe Bellick. Marengo by 2. 4 for Bellick. Elliott playing out top. Tidwell is down on the block, left. See if they pop him out. They'll have to run him off some screens. Tidwell hasn't got many shots. He shakes a little bit and a whistle. His timeout called by Charlie Strasburger and Prairie Central. Marengo's in the lead in the second quarter, and we'll be back after this from one of your network sponsors, John Deere. Defense is a key to a great team. They always say that if you can win the close games and play good defense, it'll be there for you every night. It's been there for both teams tonight, Coach.
Boy, the defense is just outstanding, and both teams are having trouble attacking each other's defense. And, you know, offense wins games and defense wins championships, and both these teams have that on their mind.
Bazell with the basketball for the Hawks. They're trying to tie it up with a 2 or take the lead with a 3. Bazell, 2. Good-looking senior. He has 6 in the game. High of 29 this year against Gilman. He was their highest scorer in 7 games this season. That's McKee. Oh, he found Wallner inside. He sealed his man away. And it's a jump ball. The possession arrow goes to Marengo.
Well, Prairie Central went back to man that possession, and it caught Marengo a little unawares. They really didn't get in their offensive set.
Bellick looks in. Now comes in for the scoop. A little finger roll by Joe Bellick. And Marengo once again up by a deuce. Cooperschmidt sets the post. Tidwell hawked by Cannon. See if Tidwell can get himself free for a shot. Little tricky dribble. Not this time. Bazell again. Good again.
Tidwell has to sacrifice himself. He's trying to run off a lot of picks and so on, but the defense is just going to keep him out of the scoring area.
As you can see, under 4 minutes to go, first half. Lob inside to Olson, broken up by the Hawks, and a foul. Chad Olson, 6'2" and 150, very active inside for 150 pounds.
Here's that play again. The lob looks like it might be stolen, but good reactions, and he grabs the ball back. And
a near steal by Mark Elliott, but it stays with the Indians.
Marengo has played these 5 guys the whole ball game, Frank. This might be something to look at in the second half.
Cannon's free, the left-hander. And Oberle has the rebound. Charlie Strasburger's brought a couple of guys, Perkins and Cox, off the bench, that all starters are in there now. Elliott, foul line pop. Rebound, Wallner. Cooper Schmidt's been quiet too. And he almost scores 15 a game for the Hawks. Here's Olsen. Bazell tries to stop him.
Good tough man-to-man right now, Frank.
Selleck tried to free himself with a shot. Nothing doing.
5.
Great defense by Mark Elliott.
Super defensive effort by the whole team. The man played the ball tough, and they were in the passing lanes, and he just couldn't get rid of it.
Man-to-man pressure, shutting down the passing lanes. And now the Hawks try to take the lead. Tidwell, 3. Rebound, Cannon on the miss.
They pretty well forced Tidwell off the point and made a forward out of him with their defense.
Olsen tries to answer a miss, and Cooper Schmidt has it. The Hawks would run more than Marengo. Tidwell, stop and pop.
That's got to help the young man's confidence. He had to be a little frustrated. Get that first bucket. That's got to lift the weight off his shoulders.
His first field goal, he has 4 points. Defense is really turned up. Bazell tracks it down. All the way in, Bazell. Great block by somebody. Wallner got the ball.
Wallner's the guy with the block.
Yeah. Wow. Selleck comes back. The defense, the hands are everywhere. You just watch the intensity in this game.
Well, anybody out here picks their dribble up is going to be in big trouble.
McKee shoots.
That's right.
And a whistle against Marengo.
I've been to Charlie Strasburger's practices more than once this year, and he's a bit of a drill sergeant. The kids love him, but he's demanding. And he's in one whale of a basketball game right here.
Well, if he sounds demanding and he looks demanding, he must be.
You got that right, yes, sir.
Looks to me like the Hawks are going to get Justin Cox in the game. 6'5" and 210. Bazell will get a rest. And once again, Marengo stays with their 5. Marengo has 4 fouls to the Hawks 3.
Only 7 fouls the whole ball game. With this kind of defense, that's pretty good D, gentlemen.
Cooper Schmidt drills a pass over to Elliott. A 3 is on the way.
That's the first one of the night, and they're a good 3-shooting team, so they've got the lid off.
Elliott 1 for 6,
too.
and he made it a 3. McKee tries to answer a 3. And the Hawks move it up. Gary Tidwell. I can slip the ball between the legs. A whistle, and Cannon got him.
Look at Wallner and Selnick are both a little tired out there right now. Coach Fairbury must not be too deep on the bench because these kids have been putting in a great effort. This last minute 21, they look a little beat.
Prairie Central, Frank, and Jim, it's last year in the Waseca Conference as Tidwell connects. Next year they move into the Corn Belt.
There's some of the Hawks fans telling you where they think they belong. They've been rated #1 virtually all year. Tidwell, 4 free throws in a row, and it's a 7-point Prairie Central lead. And now Marengo would like to answer. 1:15 first half. Frank Tassoni, Art Kimball, and Coach Jim Mungie. Hope you're enjoying it. McKee way outside. He missed. He was just inside the 3. If he'd have taken a couple of steps back, he could have spotted up for that 3. Tidwell's got a 3 on the way. Good! So Marengo has to stop it.
Coach Fairbury didn't like that at all.
We'll be back in a moment. One of your network sponsors is Country Company. The stepson of the coach is Gary Tidwell, and he can fire the long ranger.
There's the NBA three on that one, Frank. Nice release, good rotation, nothing but net.
There's Mark Elliott.
Elliott got the first one, Tidwell the second one. That gave him that 6-point spurt, propelled him to 10-point lead at this point.
As a longtime coach in the state, do you like the three-pointer?
When it first came in, I didn't, but I sure do now.
You'd have liked it when you were playing.
I loved it.
All right, Marengo needs a score. They're down 10. And a foul on Prairie Central. 40, Joe Harper has come into the game for Marengo. Harper is a 6-foot senior into the game for the first time. Bellick looks in. Wonder if they'll go to Olson if they can. Bellick turns and shoots. Rebound Tidwell. And the momentum is shifted to Prairie Central. They want one shot coming to 20 seconds, first half. Cannon plays man-to-man. Got Tidwell pushed well out on the court, beyond anybody's range now. They'll have to move to the basket. Here comes Tidwell. It's a three. Cooper Schmidt got pushed out of the way. Cannon got the ball, and Marengo will throw it too short to end the first half. Prairie Central led by 1 at the quarter. They lead by 10 now. We'll return to the Assembly Hall in just a moment. Now this from the IHSA. Jackson lets fly. Goal! Jackson won the game!
Price is having away. The ball is stolen by Smedley. He shoots. He scores!
Horton launches the jumper. No good. Rebound down. Ball is good.
And Bowman says, tip it to me. Cobb tips it. Grabbed by Smith. He shoots. He hits it. The game is over. Morgan Clark has won it.
It's March Madness. Now, relive the incredible history of the Illinois High School basketball tournament on one fabulous cassette. Meet the great players and coaches. See the unforgettable teams, the powerhouses, and the sentimental favorites. The wild finishes, the classic thrillers. March Madness, now yours. Just send check or money order for $32.95 to this address or call toll-free 1-800-621-0660. That's 1-800-621-0660. Major credit cards accepted. Order now.
This is the Country Company's halftime report, brought to you by the Country Company. When it matters most, the country's behind you. And now, let's go to Jim Albrecht.
We're on the Assembly Hall floor, of course, and with me one of the Sweet 16 coaches of 1990 in Class A basketball, that being Cal Hubbard of Normal High School. And when the year started, Cal, I'm sure you probably were thinking, man, this is going to be a downer. You have gallbladder surgery. You've got a lot of your people that you're counting on with football injuries, and you get off to a very rough start.
We really did. Plus, we had a schedule that was really working against us early. But the kids came through pretty well.
Yeah, I think somebody told me Genghis Khan made out your schedule 15 of your first 17 games on the road. But, hey, you know, down the stretch, when you get down to tournament time, that might toughen you up.
It really did. It helped us down the stretch. We think there's a happy medium, though, between that and what we had.
Well, tell me a little bit about your club. I know you still have a couple of people coming back, but what about your seniors?
Our two seniors that carried us were John Lippick, a 6'7" senior, and Brian Beverly, a 6'3" senior. Then we had a senior point guard, Clark Rogers. And those three kids really gelled together real well with two sophomores, Brady Knight and Neil Hubbard. And then we brought two kids off the bench, and Jeff Graham and Jeff Otto, that really did a fine job for us.
Now, when you were going through some of your early season woes, Prairie Central came calling and they rang up your number. I think they beat you by 25. But in the super sectional, you lost by 5, but one of those one-on-one free throws, and hey, it might have been a different story.
We played them a lot better, obviously, in the second game. Our kids played much better defense, and I think our defensive intensity just wasn't what we wanted it earlier in the year.
What makes Prairie Central so good? Their balance? Are they just well-schooled? Is that what makes them tough to play?
No, Tidwell's what makes them tough. Their offense revolves around Tidwell, and you saw early when 32 from Marengo took him out of the game, they weren't very effective. And then when Gary said, "Hey, it's mine," then they started getting a lot of baskets off his penetration, and he made a couple baskets where he was cold early.
I know the people back at home don't have our vantage point as far as looking around Assembly Hall, but it's almost full here this evening, and that really speaks well for where Class A basketball is headed in this state.
Well, this is the first year I've been back in Class A for a lot of years, and I am really impressed with the enthusiasm, the intensity that the kids play with, and most of all, I think they're just outstanding shooters in the Class A.
Do you like it more? I mean, that's probably a question that you don't need to answer, A or double A, but any preferences?
I really like our situation at U-High. I think we've got a really good blend of the academics and the athletics. We had a good varsity season, but our sophomores were 17-4 with 2 other sophomores with us. Our freshmen were 17-1. We really like what we have coming, and U-High is a unique environment, but I'm really glad to be home.
Well, that is Cal Hubbard, the U-High coach, and let's hope next year's start is no repeat from this year's start, all right?
Well, we've already adjusted the schedule a little bit, so it should be a little different.
All right, that is Cal Hubbard joining us here at the Assembly Hall. We're going to be back with more from our halftime show right after we pause for these messages.
Prairie Central in the lead over Marengo, 29-19 at halftime in our second quarterfinal session. And Gary Tidwell lit the fuse at the end of the second quarter. You know, here's the halftime statistics, and you'll see the 42% field goal percentage. Marengo is only able to hit on 9 of 30. One of the bigger differences in the game, Tidwell's made 4 of those free throws. The Hawks have a 6 rebound edge. What do you think, Coach?
Well, I'll tell you, right now, Marengo looked a little tired the last 4 minutes. That affects your shooting when your legs are a little tired, and then Tidwell stepped up in the last minute and a half of the game, took it over. Here's Tidwell now bringing the ball down, and I think we might see one of his penetrations. Kicked it off, back to him, shoots that long 3, and that had to make the young man feel great.
You know, if you have a guy like that, you've got to have one rule upon his shooting. He's got to be in bounds.
Yeah, that's about right.
Coming back the other way, you see Marengo with John Cannon along the baseline. Look at the help they get from Wallner inside.
Strong rebound on the backside, and that young man's been impressive. He's hit the boards very, very well for them.
Marengo has a 10-point hill to climb. They're watching you in the old famous hometown of Roanoke. They're watching in Lawrenceville, and we want to thank you and a good job for joining us here on this Class A tournament.
Well, thank you very much, Frank. I've been enjoying it.
Great. I'll tell you, Prairie Central showed me that at the end of the quarter, they got their game hot again. Now, what does Marengo do here at halftime to go adjust to get their offense cooking?
Well, I think their defensive scheme's been great offensively. They've been harried a little bit. They've had a little trouble hanging on the ball, and they've missed some easy shots inside. They've actually attacked the defense pretty well. They've just not had the good luck on the shooting. And like I say, I attribute some of that to the leg weariness. Maybe they'll bounce back in the second half.
For Marengo, Wallner had 7, Bellick 6, and Olson 4, and some balance also for Prairie Central with Tidwell 9, Bazell 8, and Cooper Schmidt 5. What's Prairie Central going to do differently?
Well, I think Prairie Central now is comfortable attacking that specialty defense, and they've got to get Cooper Schmidt back in and do a little scoring, but I think their confidence level's high now, and I think they'll really come on in the second half.
What's the value now of having a big man with the advent of the three-point shot in this game?
Well, it spreads the defense out, and it lets him operate in there, and there's not too many 3-second calls, so a big man now is really valuable. He can get a lot of points for you.
Do you subscribe to that theory that you only need the 2 shots, the post, the low block, and the 3?
Well, I think there's a couple other ones you might take, too, but that's not a bad philosophy if you got the right chemistry on your team.
We'll be back at the Assembly Hall for the second half of this game in just a moment. Right now, let's take this break, and one of your network sponsors is John Deere. Coach Charlie Strasburger of Prairie Central is one of 3 coaches in the state's history to take 2 Class A schools to the Elite 8. And Marengo's Indians there with Bill Berry in his 22nd year at Marengo and 33 years in coaching has this dream come true. And I'll tell you what, they're not going to go down in the second half without one whale of a fight.
Now, a great defensive team like that is always in the basketball game. A couple of steals and some you know, quick baskets inside, and they're right back in the ball game. So it's a big key, I think, the first 3 or 4 minutes of this quarter. They've got to play positive and aggressively and get something to fall, and it'll make a ball game out of the second half.
Earlier today, Trenton Westland High School took out Shelbyville, and Aurora Christian got by Farmington to join the semifinals. One of these teams will do likewise, followed by our final quarterfinal tonight, Pittsfield and Norris City, coming up next. Well, the second half is all set. Prairie Central in white starts with the ball. If you just joined us, they lead by 10. Marengo's in the maroon.
I think we're looking at a little more straight man-to-man concept right now, Frank.
That's what it is, man-to-man. A little cheating on the ball. Prairie Central gets off and running as Aberley hits the first bucket in both halves. He's got 6. It's the biggest lead. It's 12. And Marengo can get some points, too. They average 62 on the season. There's Wallner. Bad angle, but the shot is up. No. Cooper Schmidt rebounds. Control break. They'd like to run more. Marengo gets back.
I think both teams would like to run the break, but both teams are getting back so well, it's impossible.
Elliott fakes, goes, and missed. Oh, good rebound by Bellick. He's only 5'10". He's got a 3-on-1 advantage against Tidwell. All the way for a miss. That was almost too easy.
Well, I think he gave Tidwell a little look off, but Tidwell was setting him up. He was going to let him feel he was going the other way, and then came right back at him.
Bazell tries outside. That's 10 for Darren Bazell. Let's check it. I'll get it right.
You're right, 10.
10 for Bazell. Cannon fakes. Prairie Central slipping away. They look inside to Wallner. Nice pass. Oh, boy. Chad Olson along the baseline. Olson had 22 points and 17 rebounds in one game, 21 points and 17 rebounds in the super sectional. A lot of boards. Tidwell sweeps the ball inside to Cooper Schmidt. He steps in, puts it up and in.
Hey, Cooper Schmidt's starting to establish himself inside on both ends. He got a rebound on one end, come back and score it on the other.
7 for Dayton. Lob inside to Olson. Stolen. The Hawks come back. 5:45 to play, third quarter. Prairie Central by 14.
The Marengo problem now is they must force turnovers, which means full court pressure, and the Hawks normally handle that pretty well.
Aberley. And they get one shot only. Bellick clears it away. Marengo needs to hit 3 or 4 shots in a row.
A couple of threes wouldn't hurt at all.
Who will take a 3? This is Harper. Oh, Olson. Nice hands. He turned an overshot. Cooper Schmidt making his presence felt more here in this quarter. Tidwell stutter steps. Bazell beat his man to the baseline, and the man ran the loop with him instead of the angle.
Bazell's a nice player. When Tidwell was having trouble getting started, he carried the team, handled the ball a lot, made a nice drive on that last play.
Remember one day this year, gentlemen, Charlie Strasburger was apologizing to me for having his practice in the small gym. He had to give up the big gym to the girls. I know, Jim, you've had that experience too. But I said, Charlie, you're pretty tough in that small gym with this kind of pressure defense, and indeed he was.
Sean McKee returned to the lineup as Bazell missed the free throw. Bazell's a good foul shooter at 74%. I asked Charlie Strasburger what the difference was in Bazell this year and last. He says this year he's just more confident. He got his rebound. He rolls it out of there to Tidwell. A 3. Yes!
That was under some duress, Frank, and he let that fly, but he went up very confidently and made a nice-looking shot.
He's the radar man. And now Prairie Central's extended to 17. Olson, I think he could take Bazell if he took the ball inside. Now Bazell looking to shut him down. Wallner needs help.
That tough man-to-man again.
shut down a lot of things there.
Tidwell is 5-1 in the Assembly Hall, fellas.
That's a lot of gains. And he's got a few to play. Look, what's the record?
I don't know. State championship 1 year and third place finish the second year.
Can do a lot more. Inside Cannon with a left hand. John Cannon.
That was a big basket for them. They needed something.
Well, it's certainly a record for an athlete at two different schools in the same high school career.
3:53 on the clock, third quarter. Look at that skip pass. Elliott and Tidwell got free. Goes inside, tried it. Tried it off the glass, couldn't get it to go down.
Wallner back on those defensive boards again.
Double dribble against Marengo. And that's one time they won't get a shot. That's a good look at Joe Bellick, B-E-L-L-A-K, senior. Zell pulls up and throws a pass that Oberle grabs, steps in with his muscle, couldn't get it down, but Cooperschmidt's going to try and got it down.
Super shot.
He had the ball way back in the palm of his hand, a little mini skyhook.
Great weapon. You don't see too many kids use it anymore, but Cooperschmidt uses it well.
Here's a look at that one inside again, Frank. Just a nice little jump hook, nothing but net.
One magic throws in there. Cooperschmidt put home 3 on that exchange, and the Hawk lead extends to 18. And now is when they really get tough on you because the momentum is for them. They put some pressure on, and I'm sure Charlie Strasburger didn't have a foul in the backcourt in mind.
Well, I think like a good boxer, you get somebody in trouble, you go for the knockout. They're going to keep that pressure on in this third quarter and try to just blow this thing wide open.
They have not had a lot of close ball games. Their close games have come in tournament play, in the tournament series.
Well, there was some question in some people's minds as to whether or not Prairie Central was playing very well here at the end of the year. But they're playing a tough basketball team tonight and handling them.
And looking much better than they did in the super section against Cal Hubbard's University High School team.
McKee is open. And Oberle, 6'1" and 180. Fazell catches the ball, the body falls. Tidwell takes it off the bounce. Tidwell's open for a 3. Yeah.
Coach Fairbury didn't like that last possession. That ball went out of Fazell's hands and then came down. He caught it, thought it should have been traveling. He expressed his displeasure with the official on that call.
15.
Not Charlie. You coaches wouldn't complain to an official, would you, Jim?
Not me.
Charlie, maybe, not you.
Lob inside to Olson. Out of bounds.
Coach Fairbury's got to get a timeout here.
He's got it. 2:21 to go. And Marengo looks way up the mountain now at Prairie Central's lead. We'll be back. Now a message from one of your network sponsors, the dairy farmers of Wisconsin and Illinois. Marengo's best defenses are zone. And when you're 21 down, look at Tidwell firing. It's probably going to be a zone press.
Yeah, it's got to be, and they've got to make sure somebody gets back on Tidwell because he's 3 from three-point land. So that's you know, the kind of shooting you like. 9 points out of 3 shots. That's why coaches like that 3-point shot.
Another record he may be closing in on is the most threes in the Class A tournaments, plural. Oberle's open on the tail end of that, and we're going to have a couple of guys go down pretty hard. Aggressive.
Real aggressive by both players. Just lost composure a little bit, but they're good, hard-working kids. They're settling themselves down right now. Going to shake some hands.
That's Kent Oberle, 33, going to the foul line. Foul is on Bellick.
These games mean so much to the youngsters. They mean a lot to the fans because the kids play in them, and they're occasionally going to have a little difference of opinion out there.
Oberle missed that. You can take a look at the battle underneath. There's
the
Bellick.
penetration. Bellick with a good attempt at the block, and then Oberle fell on him. And they say they're just two hard-nosed kids, and they're fine now.
They got tangled up a little bit there. Here's the rebound, weak side. Cooper Schmidt knocked it in. His size has been a factor here in the second half. He has a dozen. Prairie Central's doubled the score on Marengo now. And when you watched in the first quarter, you wouldn't have thought that would be possible. Getting free, Bellick. There's a nice rebound by Olson. Chad Olson.
Still staying with it, but it's a long uphill fight. Getting back with twos is going to take a while.
Bazell finds Cooper Schmidt on the reverse.
Frank Tidwell, by playing in this game, has tied the record for most games played in by an individual in Class A state tournament competition with 7, previously held by Dave Bush of Hoopston East Lynn and Kevin Root of Hoopston East Lynn.
Olson got inside, couldn't get it to go down. Cooper Schmidt, who's 6 out of 8 now, has 14 points, and Prairie Central really feeling it. 1:10 to go, third quarter. Tidwell, a 3. Bang! A 2.
Yeah, he had his foot on the line on that one, but he cleared himself nice, and it's money in the bank.
50-25. Wallner got inside, and Oberle fouled him. You'll find whenever there's a little scuffle like that they'll clean it up in a hurry.
I hate to keep interrupting you, but you sent me to the record book on the 3 points. They don't have any record for career 3-pointers in the Assembly Hall in the state tournament.
Well, we'll start one.
They have a record in most in one tournament is 10. Yeah, I think we may have. Right.
Well, thanks for checking that, Art. And,
I'll leave you alone now. Back to the ball game.
Well, we need to keep track of records. That's part of the reason we're here. Bazell's going to go 94 feet if he can, and he's fouled.
I didn't think I'd ever say this, Frank, but these officials have done a very good job. You don't notice them out there. They've kept the game in good control, and it's been a speedy game and a well-played game with 2 aggressive teams from the standpoint of the officiating.
Well, I'll hang on to that tape and mail it to Don Robinson.
We all heard him, didn't we?
You bet. Justin Cox comes in for Prairie Central. And here comes Ricky Hayden, 20.
All you fans of the North Egypt Conference area, keep that in mind. Season starts next year down in Lawrenceville, around that neck of the woods.
22, Ricky Hayden, a 5'10 senior, in for the Hawks. Gary Tidwell sits down. Charlie Strasburger realizes that there's 2 games ahead tomorrow.
Never hurts to get some more kids in the ball game. You never know when you might need somebody.
Bazell tries a 3, rattles out. And now with under a half a minute, oh, nice break. McKee goes all the way in, and he's hacked by Bazell. Marengo got out and ran the break in good shape.
And Bazell got out and hustled pretty hard to get down there to even come close to blocking that shot.
He really got some elevation. Look at this.
Watch this pass. Touch. Great pass from Olson. Got a little too much arm, but he was up high enough to get the block. He just didn't get the angle quite right.
Guys 6'2 and 6'1 were skying. McKee had 16 in the sectional final and 71% foul shooter. He's a junior. So is Cannon, so they'll have 2 of their starters back next year. Bill Berry's 34th year in coaching. Double teaming the ball. Bazell throws up a prayer. No answer. And Marengo comes back under 10 seconds in the quarter. Bellick just dropped the ball. 4, 3, half-court shot coming. He doesn't know it. There it is. Just missed the 3 at the buzzer. And at the end of 3 periods of play, it's Prairie Central 50, Marengo 26. Let's pause for these messages. Our second quarterfinal session, and Prairie Central in control as we get set to start the 4th quarter. Earlier today, Trenton Wesleyan took out Shelbyville in front of 12,408. Aurora Christian 48 and Farmington 42. My guess is there's more than that here for this evening's session.
I think so too, Frank. We're probably in excess of 13,000 tonight.
So more than 25,000 will have paid their way into the Assembly Hall today. Bellick starts the 4th quarter with a 3 attempt. Olson rebounds. He got in. Look at the battle. Nice work, and John Cannon got it down.
Rebound basket by 32, John Cannon.
They're going to trap the ball. The Hawks have their starters in. And Elliott finds the range. A three.
He's got that shot a little low in the pocket, but he's accurate with it. You give him that much space, and he's going to bury that shot.
Here's a nice defensive play by Bazell, and Tidwell picks it up. Darren Bazell, good athlete. Tidwell's pop doesn't go, and Marengo brings it back.
6 threes thus far in the ball game for Prairie Central, none for Marengo.
Here comes one on the way. It's too short. And here comes Bazell. 3-on-2 Hawks. Bazell, Oberle, and a foul. Now that looked like the old-fashioned off guard for about 2 yards. And somebody is slow getting up here. It's Sean McKee. He's all right. But Oberle's a load coming through there.
Here comes Bazell. Watch this feed that he gives off there. Great pass to Oberle, and see the player fell backwards into him and then caused a collision from McKee.
Oberle missed it.
Just 3 in a row.
53-28 for the Hawks. You can see him talking to himself. Concentrate.
Remember your boy Robbie Meyer last year, Frank, with his club?
Young gun.
The Italian connection, right?
He drilled the threes big time. It was Meyer and Tidwell out front for Prairie Central. Meyer
had 10 in the tournament last year.
Great three-point shooter. Olson tries the three, and it's there. Chad Olson.
They might have found the guy they want to shoot the three, right?
Here he comes after the ball. Elliott gets free, goes all the way for the deuce, and a block.
He slid under it very late. Never did take the charge, and that's sometimes they count those intentional, but he was trying to get himself set and draw a charge.
Take a look at it from on high.
Nice outlet by Cooper Schmidt. He got a straight lane to the basket. You can see the player he lost his footing again. They're having trouble down there in that lane, Frank.
Elliott knocked it in. And it's 57-31. Elliott's been tough. Coach says he's the biggest surprise on the club. Tidwell got his hand on the ball, took it away from Bellick and out of bounds. Oh! And Prairie Central got the ball, and I think they were even surprised.
Can I reverse what I said about officials?
No, we got you on record.
You were pretty close to that one. Elliott. Yes. And all of a sudden, the Hawks have 60. A dozen for Elliott. He averages 11-4. Olson gets inside to Wallner, and a foul on Oberle.
Remember the timeout about midway through the second quarter when Charlie Strasburger got his club together. They started to solve the very fine Marengo defense. Since then, it's been all Prairie Central.
Well, for the record, that third quarter was 21-7 Hawks. And a lot of those bombs.
Well, a veteran ball club, you can get through to a hurry. They've been through this. And Marengo's a fine basketball team. They're doing a number on a fine club here tonight. Probably the best game Prairie Central has played in 3 weeks, Frank.
Well, this would be Marengo's first loss to a Class A school all year. Amazing record.
Northwest Suburban Conference.
Blocking foul on Olson. With 5:54 to go, and there's some miles on those shoes.
I think they got Bazell on that one. The official looked like he was pointing direction to Olson on the floor, but it was Bazell that had the charging around.
Oh. Check on the right here.
It's probably not going to be a charge because he's gotten rid of the ball. And like you say, that's a tough call to make, whether it's blocking or charging.
Free throw is missed, and Oberle has it. Tidwell flips the ball between the legs and finds Bazell for the pop on the wing. Olson gets up.
Olson's a nice player, Frank.
Very nice. Good spring in his legs, plays defense, can score, active. Cannon is fouled in the act by Elliott. He'll get 2.
Coach Charlie Strasburger wants to have a word with Mr. Elliott. He didn't like that idea at all. Stopping the clock at this stage at that shot.
Charlie, before the game, Mark, when you were talking to him, it sounded like the voice was already going south.
It went south, I think, the season's opener.
Speaking of south, his mother is here from Kentucky for the tournament. His name is Dobie.
She wasn't going to miss us. She was here with Charlie when Pena won it, was here last year, and back this year.
And missed that one. Wallner's inside. It goes, and he fouls. Go Wallner.
Frank, the consolidation of Prairie Central is not only Fairbury, it's Trophy, Strawn, Forest, and Wink.
One of my favorites
It really wasn't a pass. It looked like it slipped off Olson's hands, but Wallner was in the right spot.
And he got a 3-point play out of it. It's 60-36. Prairie Central, 5:26 to go. And you can't convince Marengo they have no chance.
No, they're still working very hard, trying to trap the ball and cause something to happen, get a turnover.
Good-looking basketball team. They ran into a buzzsaw here tonight. Oberle uses his weight, gets it back up and in. And Prairie Central is up to 62. They average 77 per game. Bellick swings to Olson. He's got a 3. Yes! That's a couple of threes for Chattel. And a whistle away. Prairie Central calls timeout. We've got 4:46 left, and we'll be back. Now this from the IHSA. This is Jackson with 3. Jackson lets fly. Goal! Jackson won the game!
Who will be state champion for 63? Pass into Williams. Tries to slap it away. The ball is stolen by Smedley. He shoots. He scores!
Up quickly, right corner to Horton. Horton launches the jumper. No good. Rebound. Gamble is good.
It's March Madness. Now, relive the incredible history of the Illinois High School basketball tournament on one fabulous cassette. Meet the great players and coaches. See the unforgettable teams, the powerhouses, and the sentimental favorites. The wild finishes, the classic thrillers. March Madness, now yours. Just send check or money order for $32.95 to this address or call toll-free 1-800-621-0660. That's 1-800-621-0660. Major credit cards accepted. Order now.
A year ago, eventual state champion Carlisle turned Prairie Central away in the semifinals, 67-62. And the Hawks have that 62, but this time they're on the upper end, and they're headed to the semifinal round themselves. Following this game tonight, 2 teams with only 1 loss each as Pittsfield goes against Norris City. That'll come up after this one. That's Gary Tidwell.
Can't let him penetrate and then not cover him in the paint. He's just an excellent, excellent shooter.
Tidwell shoots 43% on threes, which is a remarkable percentage. 49 on twos. McKee on a turnaround. Sean McKee, 64-41, Prairie Central. And a traveling violation. McKee got his first shot down there in 9 tries. Look at Charlie over there. He's still really working.
He's still working. He made a change in defense, and he's going to put Bazell on Olson. He's not going to get any more 3 attempts, I don't think.
Wonder how much longer he'll stay with the starters. Bazell has the ball. There's still 4 minutes to play. A 23-point game. Tidwell's wide open. It's a 3. Too long. Rebound battled for off Elliott. Marengo has it. Mentioned earlier, and we want to mention again, the Sun-Times Class A All-State team named Rennie Clemens of Springfield Calvary Player of the Year, and includes Gary Tidwell and several other performers in this Elite 8. Tidwell rebounds. Bazell beat the pack down the court. Elliott's open in the three-point lane. Cooper Schmidt. Marengo's got the advantage on the break. Bellick took it all the way. He missed. We're going to hustle the other way.
I like this young Mr. Cannon. He's hustling on defense the whole ball game, and he had some tough assignment out there trying to stay with Tidwell.
Elliott got those two. Cannon will be back. That's 14 from Mark Elliott. McKee and Cannon are the juniors. Inside Olson. Nice move. 5 seniors start for the Hawks. And now they're going to get some reserves off the bench. 18 points for Chad Olson as Gary Tidwell adds up 2 more to his growing column. 68-43. 2:40 to play.
21 for Tidwell now.
Bellick tried a drop-down pass, and Cooper Schmidt picked it off. Marengo is going to get their players off the bench now, too. And a whistle and a timeout on the floor. We'll get some reserves in, and we'll finish this game in just a few moments. Now this from one of your network sponsors, Country Company. Well, if you go out on the court 19 feet 9 inches and shoot from just beyond that, it counts for 3. And Prairie Central has connected on 6 out of 9. And they're led by their all-stater, the stepson of the coach, number 12, Gary Tidwell, who's now gesturing to the crowd, and he's out of this basketball game with 21 points. That's his average.
Now, he had a tough start, but quality player finds a way to let the game come to him, and then when it did, he took over and did a lot of good things out there for Coach Strasburger.
Ricky Hayden and Corey Compton are now the guards for Prairie Central. That foul is on Kent Seaver. Also for the Hawks, Justin Cox is in there. Steve Perkins. We'll pick up the other one here in a moment. It's Derek Schroff, 32, a 6-foot sophomore. So 5 reserves in for Prairie Central. And Ricky Hayden gets the free throw down. Marengo has Eric Halverson in. There's Tidwell.
Schroff came off the bench, Frank, and out of a Marquette late in the season. The sophomore seldom used, and really did it up against the Crusaders and paced them to a win. They were in trouble.
Halverson is 24 for Marengo.
Assistant coach's son.
Vodapevic is 54. Out of bounds. 40, and there's Joe Harper, who played earlier. 20, Kent Seaver, we mentioned. We want to try to get everyone who's in the game mentioned. Dave Turner is 34. There's him with the ball. Turner. Oh, nice entry. Right to the low block for the layup, and that was Joe Harper. So it's 70-45. This game started as a war, a defensive battle royal. Prairie Central, too much firepower.
Just too much, and that's a real good defensive team that Marengo's been all year. I just don't think they had enough offense, kind of like bear football sometimes. The defense just had to work too hard. The offense just couldn't keep pace.
44, Jamie Paprocki checks in for Marengo. And it's an opportunity for some of these young players to come in and put some time in on this famous court.
Got to be a great thrill for any young man to step out between the lines at this court in the state tournament.
1963, this flying saucer came down from the sky. Marengo, the ball down low, and they get one home. Dave Turner. 70-47.
And they still talk about Anthony Smedley, who christened this place with a jump shot to beat Centralia for Chicago Carver.
Right out of the corner.
Which can be seen on March Madness, the video.
You bet. This building is only 400 feet in diameter. Some spectacle. Now Marengo gets Kip Sandersfeld, number 50, into the game. And now the Hawks bring yet another wave. Kent Stoller is 25. Brian Deck is 50. Kyle Wenger, 23. Chris Dahlren, 31. All checking into the game. Mike Fogarty, 6'2" sophomore, 24. Look at Coach Barry over there talking to his team, telling them what a great year they had, and telling them how they have a right to be very proud of themselves. A great year.
There's only 8 teams to get to this Assembly Hall, and they've got to be proud of what they accomplished. And in a couple of days, what they accomplished, I'm sure they'll remember and forget, you know, what happened here this afternoon.
Joe Harper made that goal for Marengo at 70-49. We're down to 43 seconds. Kent Seaver. And now Sandersfeld. Vodapevic. And a foul. And so it comes down to the last precious few seconds.
The Hawks have the ingredients of a championship club, don't they? They just keep coming at you, no matter what the situation is. They got more intent, I think, than they had to tonight.
Great defense, good rebounding, inside basketball, and a good 3-point. That about sums it up, Art.
A lesser club would have folded against the defensive heat from Marengo.
Free throw is down by Lou Vodapevic. Well, who's going to take the next game? Norris City and Pittsfield. That's a
pick 'em, isn't it?
One loss apiece.
You know, we've been talking about close games. We only had one close game today so far, so hopefully this next ball game between two teams with only one loss each would be a tighter basketball game.
That one, and wait till tomorrow. The semifinals.
Yeah, quarterfinals in recent years, we've had a few that weren't real close, but the semifinals was the one that they got for.
Vodapevic's going to go out now, and Jamie Paprock is going to get a chance here.
Both coaches have done a good thing. They've allowed every young man they had on their squad to take part in the state basketball tournament as a player. That's outstanding.
Marengo will take a final shot if they can here. Guy Seaman. And a violation out of bounds, Prairie Central. How many more whistles in the final 9 seconds? Let's see. 70-51. The Hawks going to try to get one off. They do. It's short. And that's it. Prairie Central advances to the Final Four, 70-51. And Charlie Strasburger's dream is still alive to take home his second state championship in the last 3 years in Class A, won in '88 with Pana. Last year, just short, and the smiles of the Hawks. Marengo closes this season 28-3, and this is the first loss to a Class A school. This is a classy outfit. We'll be back at the Assembly Hall in just a moment. Now let's pause for these messages.